Oh, welcome back to Wickham Farm. My occupation used to be a gambler. In this series, I shall be telling you my life story, whilst we do a little bit of farming. To recap for anybody who hasn't caught up with any of the episodes so far, I won this this farm in a game of cards. The owner literally bet the farm on it and lost. But looking at what we've got to do, we need some nutrients in here. I think we will put NPK on and some herbicide in. As we've got canola in here, herbicide or rape will be A, so I think we might start with that. I just go back and get a tractor and get my gear set up. And once we get him set up, I'll start the next part. Last time, you may remember, I went through my very early life, my school days, which I hated, and didn't spend too much time at school, no more time than I was forced. Well, this time we'll be looking at my teenage years. Were probably the worst part of my life. Then you will see why as we get on with it. Right, I'll park this here, hop out and go and pick the Ursus up. I need to drop the front weight off and might as well. We'll drop that near the diesel tank. I hope I remember what I need. That's NPK and double A for rape, wasn't it? Yeah, double A for rape. Just wish I could see the rear connection on this. I'm going to do it liquid. Basically, because we could also do a bit of moisture in that land. My neighbours told me that's the normal way of doing things, so let's go and fill this up. In fact, if we change it to that, we should better fill it front one up. I'll just get rid of that. Alright, we might as well start the yarn now. I, as you know, was born to an unmarried mother whose problem was she was, I think the nicest thing to say, a good time girl. She liked to have a good time. And if the men had a bit of money to splash on her, so much the better. Well, hold on, I meant to just change those over. Let's see if we're close enough for that one. That was it's the trouble. I'm a mere male. I can't do two things at once. That should do it. Just change that back to the back one again. Let's double check we've got AA both ends. Yep. I will be shoving this on course play, basically because I can. As you already seen, I can't talk and farm at the same time. Well, some of my neighbours are already saying I can't farm They think I've got taken on far too much here. I'm hoping I can get most of the fields back from the bank, who owns them at the moment. Now let's have a look. Let's see if we got one for this. No, I haven't even done a course yet. We've got the third refill, but that's it. So we will. This is field 20, starting corner. We'll start on the far side, which will be northwest going east. We do 2 possibly on the outside, if that will work. Let's have a look. I think it's going to be mainly going round and round, but that will suit me, I think. So we'll just back up somewhere at the start point. Oh, and I also just need to put in the other 2 parts. This was just for refill, just in case it runs out. First waypoint drive. Yes, as I was saying, I was born to an unmarried mother, and that a sheer unadulterated accident. Well, as you know, I didn't do well at school. When I left school, I struggled to get any regular work which would pay the life that I wanted to lead. Mind you, I think I didn't need to be ahead of a bank to get the money for the life I actually wanted to lead then. But what made it worse was my mother decided that I wasn't wanted at home. One of the problems was she didn't want her men friends to know she had a teenage son when she was still pretending to be in her early 20s. Mind you, any man who looked closely by then would have realised she wasn't in her early 20s anymore. Well, that's by the by. In retrospect and looking back now, I feel sorry for my mother. She wanted things she just couldn't have. But I was chucked out of the family home. Age 16 at the time. I'd left school at 15, and I had a job to go to when I left school, but that wasn't what I wanted. So I was out on the streets. I made use of my friends by using their couches, spare rooms or whatever. In fact, that's where I was really made a man. During this time I was staying with a friend of mine. His mother took a liking to me, and shall we just draw a little bit of file on and just say, one night I changed from a boy to a man. At the same time I was mixing with some of the riff-raff on the streets, and I got a regular employment, as regular as you ever get at that level, as a bookies runner. At this time, there was very strict laws on turf accountants, bookies, and this one was running very much the wrong side of the law, and I was the one who was his runner. I was collecting the bets, getting the money, paying it to the bookie, and keeping it away of the police most of the time. I got caught a couple of times. Got away first time as a warning. Second time I had a few weeks in what was then known as ball stalls. This was prison for young offenders. I came out, went back to the same work again for a while. By this time I was 17, and began to realise I was going nowhere. I started to stay in hostels as I seemed to be no longer wanted by my friends, And in one of these hostels I met this very interesting old boy who taught me cards, but more importantly he taught me how to mark cards. Either ones you had, and if you had your own pack and marked them, so much the better, because you could do a really good job on make it almost invisible to someone who wasn't looking for it and didn't know the secret. But it also taught me how to mark cards whilst I was playing. Not very nice, admittedly, but it opened up a brand new world for me. I now had an occupation, a trade, a way to make money. It never crossed my mind why, if he was so good at cards, especially with his own marked cards, why was he in a hostel? Why was he a vagrant? Why was he on the streets? Never crossed my mind for one moment. But never do at that. Things like that never do cross your mind at that age. I started getting into some low number games, poker mainly. If the marks, as we called them, would allow me to use my cards, I very rarely lost. If I had to use their cards, it took an hour or two to get the important ones in my hand, so I could just give them a little help, shall we say, so I could see what they were. Then I'd start to win again. Wasn't making a lot of money, but I was making enough to actually rent a small room. Until I got caught cheating. I spent 6 months in hospital. It taught me one thing, to watch out who my marks were. What I didn't know at the time, the guy who had decided to take on at cards was a member of the London hard men. He was a gangster. This was at the time, for those of you who know English history or British history, of the Cray twins, Jack the Hat McVitie and the rest of them. All very hard men. You did not cross them. So I come out of hospital and I decided my only hope was to move well away. So I was still living in Norfolk at the time, and it's a bit too close to London. So I moved up to the Midlands. I had a little bit of money, but not much, so it was living on the streets and hostels again for a while until I managed to win enough at cards to get back to a small place of my own. Life was quite good at the time. I had money, I had girls, had my own place, I even had a car, an old banger. In fact, anybody who knows old cars, it was a Ford Anglia 105E. Well battered by the time I got it. But it was mine. I thought I'd made it. And he's empty, so we let him go back, and hopefully I got the white point in. Yes, I was made it. By this time I was 18. Real Jack the lad. Think I knew it all. Mind you, I don't know of any teenager of mid-teen and late-teen years who doesn't know it all. About this time, my first illegitimate child was conceived. Some of my biggest regrets, I never really got to know the children, or come to let them others. Most were one night stands. I was living the life of what I thought was a professional gambler. It wasn't until later I realised exactly what being a professional gambler entailed. I moved on again, this time up to the north of England. I moved up to the northeast. I was living around Gateshead. The shipbuilding industry was still very big then. This was before Mrs. Thatcher and her idea that Britain shouldn't be an industrial nation but a service nation. But I don't think I'm going to get into politics here. Let's just get this somewhere near the trigger. I'll fill this up again and carry on with the yarn. First one done. I'll just change that over. We've got it here. I. It's got it. Yes, I was buying up in Gateshead, getting there at the end of my teens. I think there might have been time to settle down. So for once I tried work. I got a job. I got a job in one of the shipyards. Paid very good money. Almost as much as I could make gambling. As hard as that may seem to be believed. So I lived well for a while. I got another flat. Actually, no, I'd moved to Newcastle. Bigger city. Gateshead was a bit too provincial for me. Which is odd, since I came from rural Norfolk in the first place. But things were going quite well until I got the sack. I don't think they enjoyed the fact that one Christmas I played cards with the guys and I won just about all their Christmas bonus. I came away with something like £3,000-4,000. Fortune then. So the men wouldn't back me, and the company wasn't too keen to keep me. So I was on my toes again, now aged about 19, heading for who knows where. I was beginning to run out of parts of Britain to run to. I went down to the West Country. Land of cider, where I got my first touch of a drink problem. I got rather too keen on the local cider. Stuff they know as scrumpy, which is forget these rubbish you buy in the supermarket, Scrumpy Jack. It's not scrumpy. Real tough cider you drink in the tumbler, not the pint mug. Didn't realise that at first. So, as the drink took hold for a while, any skill I had at gambling went. And so did what money I'd built up. I got work in a tin mine for a while, but I actually ended up in hospital again. Nasty accident in the tin mine. Tin mining hasn't the same appeal to people as coal mining. Doesn't seem as bad, but it's just as dangerous, believe you me. And we had a cave-in. I was dug out after being underground for 25 hours. And ended up in hospital for a few months, getting patched up again. I came out, he managed to get some compensation out of the mine owner. Because unlike the coal mines, which were all nationalised then, all owned by the state, these were all private, but we managed to sue, or the union managed to sue the mine owner, and we came away with £50,000. Not just a fortune, it was several years' wages then. With that, I decided to try my hand in America. And there I shall leave the actual story for this episode, and we'll come back to it. Me in America in my early 20s, and what befell me there. Anyway, let's get back to this. This looks to have gone quite well. Can't remember how many days. I might have to set to 2 days for the graph. I think I have to set that back to 1. Those who don't know, Soil Mod, you can set your growth intervals manually in this career save game. It's somewhere near the bottom of the list of stuff, and it looks like I will need just to do that. And it looks like we're just done finished here, so I have to take this back, put the change it to NPK. No, I've got to remember too that I have on here, I've got wither wheels on, so I want to take the shortest route out. There we go. Oh, I've got that course set, so no, I shall have to set a new one. I didn't save the actual first part, and if I save it now, that will include the whole thing, so that way. Ursus has gone quite well. I need to get a front loader, but that will have to wait until we're actually sold our rape. Hopefully it will give us enough, but we're gonna cost us a bob or two on fertiliser. Oh, forgot to switch the indicator off. I might just try this with just one way out. Sorry, let's just change that over to NPK. Oh, can't be quite close enough. That's better. Alright. And I'll refill the back one. Better. The trigger's a little bit stranger. You can change the what you're putting in a little bit away from the tank, but you have to be on top of the tank to fill it. Those who are interested, this is Wickham Farm map. It's on one of the old FS 2013 standard maps. Bornholm, I think it was. No, it wasn't Bornholm, sorry, I'm thinking the 15. It was on the continental map from 2013. I can't remember the name offhand. And it's been updated with a whole load of extras by Perfect 08. And he's done a very good job on it. I'm quite enjoying playing this. Alright, let's just do this again, and it's 20. I'm going to take the just one round the outside. See what that looks like. Put this up. Hop out and try and see it. Whoa. Oh, it looks a bit. Oh, it actually looks a bit better. Oh, my main problems at the far end that the booms don't hit anything. We'll try that. But I'm going to save this now. This is 25 meters. This is field 20. 25 meter. We need to add for refill. I think I can use seed refill on this, but I'm not going to bother. And we'll set him running. I think when he's well on his way, that will be it for this episode. The beauty about these fields are they're nice and big, so I'm going to make plenty of money when we fill, or when we harvest. Most of the stuff I'm using there at the moment is just standard vanilla parts. The tractor certainly is, the spraying equipment is. But we'll just have a quick look at what else I've got actually on there. That's standard. This I think is a slightly modded one. That's modded. I can't remember who does it. That's a modded one. As is that. The Marshall tractor I know is by Bullet Bill 83. Got that because I will have several different trailers. I like the Marshall trailer. The cultivator is a modded one. OEB weight and OEB seeder. No need to really have the OEB seeder on there because there's no extra plant types. Now what I want to do is, I think it would have to be after we harvest this. I should try and get enough equipment together to do the BGA, but I think I will need to chaff the grass to put in the BGA. And the BGA is it's up here. So you go, where are we? We're here. We go to the town, back round, and the BGA is up here. I can mow the grass around these fields. That might give enough just to give the 11%. Alright, I'm going to keep this going. We'll just watch this for another couple of minutes. I think that will do for this episode. It's all we're doing this time is just spraying. And there won't be a lot of farming in this series. That'll be mainly you hear me rambling on about my latest story. To that end, I must just mention Mr. Cosmic Knight, who I've got his permission. I will be using his description of this channel on my videos fairly soon. It was excellent. It was just an old Norfolk boy rambling on, which I think is brilliant. But as we say around these parts, boy, I like a good model. With that, I think I shall let this finish off, and I will wish you all cheerio for now.